Hey guys, what's up? It's Alex over at Laser Everything, and we have an awesome video for you today. A friend of the show, Matt Boddiford, was actually able to head over to Jacksonville, Florida to meet up with Jason Rife, owner and founder of RotoBoss Rotary tools. And he takes you inside the facility, you get to see the machines actually being built, and he has a great conversation with Jason about some of the things that make the RotoBoss stand out in today's rotary market. So I'm really excited to share it with you guys. I don't want to blab on too long, so without further ado, roll the intro and let's let Matt take it away.
Hey guys, Matt Boddiford from Laser Everything here, and earlier this week I was able to go over to Jacksonville, Florida and walk through the RotoBoss assembly shop where Jason Rife is putting together some really high quality products. So while he was on the phone doing some customer service and answering questions for people, I was able to walk around his shop and take a look at some of the toys he's making and some of the really great products he's got being put together by his team. And here you can kind of see everything that's going on while Jason's on the phone walking around and talking, answering questions. Then as he was answering the questions again, because he is the person who does all of the quality control over the phone, I was able to walk around and film his crew working and putting together orders. The reason I was over in Jacksonville is because I was picking up a RotoBoss low roller, which I'm going to be using with my UV machine, which we'll be talking about soon. The other reason that I went, if you've watched some of the live streams in the past, was because I own a RotoBoss that was made in 2019, one of the first years that it was made, on the left, and it's got red plastic pieces that he printed in his shop and put together to create the first RotoBoss. And you can see that from now till then, there's been a big change. So on the right, on the black with machine metal, you see the RotoBoss 2.0. And even though there's a lot of similarities, there's some big differences with the new RotoBoss 2.0 coming out. And so the machine was really cool in 2019, and it's even better today. And here's Jason to tell us more.
Hey guys, Matt Boddiford from Laser Everything here today with Jason Rife over at the RotoBoss shop, and he's going to talk about where the machines have come from and where they're heading to. So with that, here's Jason.
Hey everybody, how you doing? First, actually, Matt here has actually purchased one of probably the very first rotaries that we ever made in our shop. Not in this location, but in a previous location. This is a RotoBoss. This was made,
Big boy,
probably somewhere November, December of 2019. It's the original all plastic version, meaning all the plates and everything were acrylic. All the colored parts or all the other parts are printed plastic. And then with the regular metal extrusions, things like that are common on all of them now.
Yeah, and if you're not sure what he's talking about, these were all like 3D printed plastic materials in the beginning, and it made it really lightweight and durable. So I've had this in my machine multiple times over the course of the past 4 years, and this thing is still a monster cranking out stuff.
Yeah, everything's held up pretty nice. It's kind of amazing to see how smooth everything still runs after all that time, because I don't get a chance to see these
And it's very dirty.
Too often after they leave the shop. But he decided to bring this one by because he's actually here checking out the shop and picking up one for his fiber laser. But this here is what we have now, which is the RotoBoss 2.0. It's the all metal version, so there is no plastic on it whatsoever, except with the exception of like the end caps for the extrusion, just to kind of dress them up a little bit. Other than that, everything's 6061 machined aluminum. There's some features on this that kind of set it apart from the original one, just with adjustability and kind of the usability of it. It's kind of a tried and true platform. We just made some changes based on some customer inputs as far as on the new ones. You can take off the lead screw on the back and use a friction screw on the slide tower. which makes it easy to slide it back and forth nice and quick. You can actually push to move them. That's sweet, front and back. So
Yeah,
it makes it a lot easier to make quick adjustments.
On the old one, the worm rod, you just have to sit there and twist it for like 7-8 inches if you needed to do something.
And I think on yours, yeah, you still got the old.
Oh yeah.
You got the old rod, so this will actually move if you
Yep.
push it enough. It'll actually kind of.
Got some flexibility.
Yeah. Well, it'll actually drop down. These were made on like a friction kind of system, so to prevent it from doing that. That's why it has these 2 holes in the front, because that's where you used to be able to put thumb screws to lock it in place. But with the newer version and upgraded components on here, that is a thing of the past. They don't move anymore.
Well, and one of the things that I thought was interesting too is not only are we getting a lot of improvements with the new RotoBoss 2.0, but when you look at the old machine next to it, like literally the components are a little nicer. Well, not a little nicer, they're a lot nicer, but the design really hasn't changed that much. So that's what's really cool is if you're someone who has an old machine and you're wondering should I upgrade, you're getting the same functionality and repeatability for sure. Like, I mean, literally not a ton has changed that I can see as far as tensioner belts and ability to drive that motor and make it go.
It was kind of intentionally done that way so we could actually expand the product without extended cost to the customer. You can literally, I mean, provided you have the metal plates, which this one, his original has all plastic. If you had all metal plates, you could literally change out every piece of plastic on the old rotary with the metal. Everything's backwards compatible. This bracket will fit on here, this one will fit on there, so you can literally take any piece and part off of a new one and pretty much just slap it on an old one and it's going to function just the same. And that was just kind of a little foresight to help prevent people from having to pay a lot of extra money to kind of get the next iteration or next version of it.
Well, it speeds up the quickness that you can actually help them too. If a piece goes out, we got you covered.
Oh yeah. Well, with the metal, we don't have any problems. Like these, I mean, everything, they all have a lifetime warranty, so it doesn't really matter. But whether it's plastic or not, I mean, at some point the plastic will have to be kind of phased out of that.
Lies.
You know, for now we're still doing warranties on anything that goes wrong. Metal, obviously, you're not going to have that kind of problem with things bending and breaking. I mean, like I said, this is solid billet aluminum for all the components that are on it. And
take a look at the machined components here. Like, nothing is done cheaply. That is really some high quality machine work there. That's awesome.
At the expense of the machine, I tried not to spare any kind of details and quality and craftsmanship. Just, I mean, you're paying anywhere from $1,000 to $1,400. One, it needs to function, and two, it should look like it's worth it. You know, when he bought this brand new, this was probably
top
like $500.
Yep.
And this was still the top of the line even back then with the Junior that we had also. The price has kind of reflected the quality and the materials that go into the product. So when someone says, "Oh, I have an old RotoBoss that, you know, I ain't paying that much money for something like that," well, you got to understand that they didn't pay that much for this machine. I mean, this machine was substantially less because of the kind of components it was made from.
Yeah, and the one thing too, that if you've watched Laser Everything, if you're in the Laser Lounge watching this, one of the things we talked about when Jason was on Laser Everything is there's cost and then there's value. So yeah, it might cost $1,000, but the value that you're adding to your shop is innumerable. So literally, I got an order just the other day for 25 water bottles, and those 25 water bottles are about $700 worth of profit. So that one order more than paid for half the machine, and I wouldn't have been able to do that if I didn't have a machine that offered repeatability and reliability. So it's a no-brainer to have as a tool in your shop and to put into your repertoire to get people to come to your shop. And that's one of those things too, with when people see those, they want them. You know, one of the teams, so as an example, one of the teams I did them for, the cross country team at the beginning of the year, they've been walking around school with them. 3 other teams have wanted them, and so literally it's about $600 to $800 every order, and out of that profit is like $400 or $500. So basically, I've paid for a brand new machine this year plus more. If that's something that you're trying to think about, it's going to cost me. That's true, but your laser costs you money, and without it, you couldn't do anything. So that's just something to consider and think about.
I like to use the analogy kind of like Harbor Freight.
Yeah.
Versus Snap-on.
Right.
You know, you can go to Harbor Freight and you can get a screwdriver for 75 cents, $1.
Right.
You're probably gonna have to replace that thing who knows how many
When
times.
it breaks in the middle of a job.
Yeah. If you go and get like a snap-on, one, obviously they have the warranty, which helps, and just the quality of the tool makes it that much more superior, so you don't have to worry about it. It comes down to dependability, consistency, and the versatility of the machine to do what you need to do and not really have to worry about it.
Yep. And speaking of versatility, by the way, the reason I came here today is because I'm actually getting a low roller, which is a machine for the galvo-based lasers. So since we are Laser Everything and a lot of us wonder about these tools and what they do, I've actually got one right here off camera. I'm gonna grab and let Jason kind of talk and walk us through why it's a good machine for a galvo machine.
So this is the low roller. This used to be one of our, and it still is available, but this was one of our machines for the smaller cabinet lasers, such as like your K40s, things like that. Because it's so low profile, it fits in those machines nicely, given the clearance that you have.
Low.
But now that we've kind of gravitated away from, or more towards the RotoBoss and the Junior, these have become the fill-in for fiber lasers or galvo lasers.
Right.
We know for a fact, just from testing and playing around with things, that it will work in a fiber, and that's pretty much any fiber. And both of those standard plugs, your 4-pin plug. And now that we've got the UV, had a chance to play around with that a little bit and kind of see how that works, and it works great in there.
By the way, that's the reason I'm here, is the UV for glass. And so the reason I've got this is because the UV with glass, anytime you have someone who uses a chuck, they've got issues with glass. And also having to rekey items every time you have to do one is just time, right? So this is something, if you've ever used any of the RotoBoss tools, it's just plug and play, snap and go, right? So that's just one of those things where I think with UV, it's gonna open up the repeatability for glassware, which is gonna just open up a new market for me. It's just hopefully capture that segment of the market in my area.
Yep. Now keep in mind also that the low roller is kind of, this is more for your basic items, your cups, your tumblers, your mugs. Chances of you doing odd shaped items on a UV or fiber are very slim. And if you do, you're better off using a CO2.
Yeah.
Just because usually the size of them, it's going to be more efficient to use a CO2 to do that.
But this would do like a 30 ounce for sure, though. Like the 30
it'll do a 30 ounce
tumbler.
water bottle. This will do everything up to a 32 ounce water bottle with no problems.
Okay.
Once you get into like your 40 ounces, because the adjustability, because this sits right down on the bed,
Frame, yeah.
you can't go any lower, so that can pose an issue as far as trying to do things much bigger than that. But like I said, it's mainly for cups, mugs, things like that. Basic tumblers and conical shaped objects,
Yep.
or flat, consistent shaped objects. And what makes this so much better for the fiber, even though the Junior, which I don't have one sitting here right now.
Nope.
The Junior will work on the fibers, but depending on the lens you're using and the fiber you're using, or the galvo you're using, the height might be an issue.
Yeah.
So that's what makes this so much better, because you can use a regular 110 lens with
Which
this rotary and still do up to a 30 ounce size cup.
Yeah.
And probably more. That's all I've ever tested up to, because that's the most common thing
Yeah.
to use. But you might have more room for other things, and that's something that you would have to kind of...
And one more thing to consider, these are on sale right now for $700 until when?
Until they're gone.
Until they're gone. Okay, and here is the Junior. So what's the big difference between the Junior and the 2.0 that's coming up and the roller?
Well, this one here is the 2.0, and what's good about the 2.0 is it's been redesigned to kind of fill the role of both the low roller and the Junior. We get a much lower profile on the drive wheels, and then now also the slave wheels, they slam all the way down to the ground. So when it's sitting flat, the wheels are about 1 millimeter or 2 off the deck.
That's really good.
So it's dropped down as low as it can possibly go to give you the most versatility. The good thing about the 2.0 versus the version 1, the version 1, obviously you can't remove the lead screw and use your thumb screw here to tighten things up. The height clearance on this is a lot lower, so it's good for your Eon, your Mira 7, Mira 9, things like that, where they have somewhat of a restricted height ability with the Z-table. But the main thing is, like I said, the low profile of the main drive unit and the slave wheels themselves, allowing you to do up to 40 ounce tumblers without any issues, without having to do anything. You start getting into some odd shaped stuff or things bigger than that, then the RotoBoss is going to be what you're going to need.
By the way, I'm holding this one just for a size comparison. You guys can see why this one is really the best option for fiber, unless you've got some really giant oversized breadboard and you're using like 120 watt with a 400 millimeter lens or something wild. Definitely a good move.
We have an intentional setup on here to mount it to the breadboard for the galvos. The new Junior, the 2.0, will work, but again, it really depends on the height of your tower system and how high you can go with your 110 lens. And if you have a taller tower, you could probably get away with the 220 or 300 or whatever the other ones are. But yeah, so this can be used for fiber. If you, I would say if you have two separate machines, let's say red and black or whatever, and then you have the galvo, which also runs off the same type of motor,
right,
same type of plug. This would be your best option for like a take from one machine, put it in the other, so you can use it on different machines. Whereas the low roller, the way it's set up there, it's specifically set up now for fiber. So if you ever had multiple machines, the Junior 2.0 would be your best option to get the most out of it.
When in doubt, call. Like, I've been with Jason today for about 3 or 4 hours, and during it he's answered phone calls and he spends all the time you need to feel comfortable getting the answers that you need to make the right choice for yourself and your company. So just a thought.
Yeah, don't hesitate to reach out. We've got plenty of opportunities all over the Rotary from when you first get it out of the box. It's got an orange tag on it. It has a QR code for your owner's manual. It also has the link for the owner's manual on it. On the new ones, you have a QR code on the back of the heel plate, which will actually link you to the website for the owner's manual. My number is literally printed on every single Rotary. That's my business number.
Yeah, it rings to his pockets, what he's saying.
But I mean, even if you look back 3 years ago, a little over 3 years ago, my number's still on it. Even when they first came out. And
so
we're
don't worry, reach
stuff.
out, learn, ask questions. He's here.
Yep.
So, all right, well, thanks, man. I appreciate your time today.
Thanks for coming out.
All right, see you guys.
See y'all later.
Thank you guys so much for watching this episode of Laser Everything. I hope you got value out of it. Special thanks to Matt for putting in all of this awesome work to make sure that we have the most up-to-date information on some of these products that are available to us online. Also, special thanks to Jason for taking time out of his busy schedule to sit down and talk with Matt and show us some of the new products that are coming out over at RotoBoss. It's really cool to see this kind of stuff, and I love the inside look at all of these different places as the channel continues to grow. Being able to peek behind the curtain really is an awesome experience. If you guys got value out of this one, don't forget to smash the like button, let everybody else know the content is good, and don't forget to subscribe and hit the notification bell so you get notified the next time Laser Everything goes on a field trip. If you love the channel, it's the best thing that ever happened to you, consider checking out the Laser Master Academy. It's the #1 way to support the channel, and you can find out more over at masters.lasereverything.net. Thanks again, sincerely from me to everybody who helped put this video together. I really hope you guys enjoyed, and I will see you in the next one.